Well, hi, today's day 3, and what we're going to talk about today is 251 with baselines. And there's a couple of things before we do that, okay, that I want to talk about just in doing the 2, 7, 5, 9, 1 major 7. Okay, so briefly I want to do this here. So in root position we have this, then our 5, 9, and then our 1 major 7. 1 major 9, excuse me. Alright, and we did talk about doing the 5, 7 flat 9 by bringing those two notes down. Alright, and then all the inversions, like we did yesterday. Now, the other thing I wanted to introduce is we can borrow the 2 from the parallel minor of C minor. That will be a D half diminished 7 chord, but it's better called a D minor 7 flat 5 because of function. Now that's going to sound like this. It's just a nice color. Let's go through the inversions on that. Okay. It's getting a little high, but okay, now that comes from the minor, C minor, all right? And the way the C minor thing is dealt with as far as, textbook harmony, it's from the harmonic scale, harmonic minor scale. So basically the resolution of that using 7th chords would work like this. Here's your D minor 7 flat 5 to your G7 flat 9 to your C major, C minor with major 7. All right, let me do that again. I call that the detective chord, the James Bond chord. Whatever. So anyway, but usually we don't use that minor major 7th chord. I mean, that's just, one of those, get out the serrano pepper sauce, okay? You don't want to use that too much. Generally, if borrowed from the minor, it'll resolve like this. That's more of the natural resolution in minor. So I don't really have time this week to talk about 2-5-1s in minor. I think that it's really, really critical for you to understand them in major first, and the minors will follow. But there's just something to work with there on that. So we borrowed the 2 half diminished minor 7 flat 5, the 5 5 7 flat 9, and then we resolve to the C major 9. And that's a nice color because it's like it's really dark on those 2 chords. The 2 7 flat 5 going to the 5 7 flat 9, and then to end on the major 9. It's kind of dark and then bright. So that's another option that you have. All right. So anyway, I did want to mention that. Now I want to move on to baselines. Okay. So basically, I want to talk about resolution chord first. Okay. And in this case, it's going to be C, C major 9. Okay. So the first baseline on the resolution chord, and I learned these as patterns, okay, and with numbers, okay. So the first one is 1 6 5 3. Let me play that a few times. Okay, now Tony told me that Jimmy Smith preferred 1 6 5 2. So that's an option, all right? Another option is this, 1 5 3 2. All right, and then another one, if we call this 8, 8 3, 4, 5, 8. Now what that's good for is like if you have a 2 measure thing going on, instead of going like, you go like this. Alright, adds a little variety. So anyway, that's for the resolution chord. And I picked different ones, you know, for this exercise just so we get all of them in. But as far as the 2-5 patterns, I want to talk about them in this regard, okay? Now, we're going to use scalar numbers on the 2, okay? Because we are thinking, you know, within the context of a scale. So the first one is the easiest one. It's all within a position where you don't have to cross over. And what that is, 2, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then, you know, you add in, you know, whatever you're doing for your tonic chord of those other choices. Now without talking. Okay, with the 2, 5, 1. Try that again. There we go. That was just a little cleaner there. Okay, so, and also, you know, start when you get comfortable with these. Make them repetitive. You know, just don't play that progression once. You know, play it maybe 4 to 8 times. All right, and you might want to put a little chromatic in there to keep it continuous. So that'll sound something like this. I guess I didn't have to do that. Varying the rhythm. So something like that. Okay, now moving on to the second one. This one's going to run up the scale, and it happens to be 2, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, sharp 5, 6, 7, 8. And since I'm up here to the 8, I'm going to come down to the 3, 4, 5, 1 and end it that way. Okay. It's not the only way to do it, but for exercise purpose. So here we go. It's probably a good idea. The next one's almost like it. It's 2, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7, natural 7, 8. And then I ended it with that. It sounds like this. Okay, now all of those you're going to notice that there are added accidentals. Okay, the reason for that being when you go from here to here, okay, first beat, second beat, third beat, fourth beat. Oops, got there too soon. Got to have a chromatic. That's just for ascending. Descending, you just come down the scale. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sounds like this. And to get those all in there, you have to work with your fingerings in different scales. But in C, use all of your fingers. Once again, cross. So that's easiest. 4, then cross. Which is a little different than how you usually play the scale. You do 3 and then cross. You're going to run out, and you don't want to have to cross 2 times. So one more time on that. And it sounds like this. Okay, so I went through that fairly quickly. I mean, yesterday we spent a whole lot of time on the resolutions and other keys, and that's just homework for you. Okay, you do need to do that. So the way I would make this work is like pick one pattern and learn all 12 keys in that, you know, maybe for 1 week. You know, get used to that, and then add another one for 2 weeks. I wouldn't practice this stuff all at once, you know, because you won't retain it as well. Okay, I think it's better to just focus on maybe one per week. And if you do that in a month's time, then you will probably have them all learned, and they'll start to feel comfortable. So anyway, now I want to move over to our stock endings. And we talked about 3 times from the 5, and that was yesterday. And I did mention Ellington, and you know, so I'll start with that one. Let's do a little bit of Fly Me to the Moon. I'm not going to get too fancy with the playing on this, but just so you know, you hear the melody of the song. I'm going to take the last 8 bars and play it with an Ellington ending and add, you know, one of these chords on top here to end it. So it'll sound like this. Okay, so anyway, the Ellington ending is this. Okay, you hit your tonic note, you know, which is like the last note of the lyric, and then 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all you have to remember is you got to come down to the 3. Then you go up the scale and add the sharp 4 in there. That's all there is to that. You double it, and you know, the left hand too, and you know, do whatever you want with that. But that's the Ellington ending. So we're going to go to the other royalty, the Count Basie. Okay, now, oh my, Count Basie, he, you know, with these 3 notes, plink, 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 you know, that is a signature. I mean, people are going to remember Count Basie for more than that, but it's like, that is just an idiomatic thing that he came up with, very creative. I'm going to tell you what I think the origin of it is, okay, just, you know, just making an intuitive guess on that. But, you know, basically the Count Basie thing it's almost like the first chord of A Hard Day's Night. I mean, as soon as you hear that chord, you know what's coming next, okay? Very idiomatic to the Beatles on Hard Day's Night. Same thing with Basie with this. Now, basically what the Basie ending is, I, you know, started it on the first beat here, and you don't have to voice it that way. I mean, I just put it there. It will take 2 hands for most of us. I cannot play tenths in anything but the key of D flat, and that depends on the day. Okay, I have, you know, kind of small hands. So what I have to do to make the Basie ending work is do 2 hands, and basically it's very easy. On top is your tonic note. Go down an octave and play a 6th, and then here's your 4th in here, and these are the notes that actually move, the inside notes. So it's this. And then end whatever chord, you know, you want. Let me do that more in time. But that's it. Now, I analyzed it here because I think it comes from old Dixieland progression that sounds like this. That. Just 2, sharp 2, diminished 7, and then, you know, the tonic chord with an added 6. Something like that. So anyway, I don't know that for a fact, but, you know, harmonically it makes sense, and I analyzed it as such. So, so let me put that in the context of Fly Me to the Moon. All right? Okay, so that's the Basie ending. And, that one was a little harder for me to learn until I figured out that it's like, well, whatever key I'm in, okay, this is going to be the sixth, take it down an octave, here's the fourth, and just these middle three notes move chromatically. And that's really all there is to it. Analyzed as 2, sharp 2 diminished, sharp 2 diminished seventh, and then, like some semblance of a 1. But, it doesn't make any sense with any of the rules. Okay, if you analyze those notes, I mean, how do you get D minor 7 out of that? I don't know. How do you get E flat diminished 7 out of that? I don't know. How do you get C of any kind out of that? I don't know. So anyway, very idiomatic to Basie. So anyway, so enough of that. And the last ending that I'm going to talk about is the flat 5 ending. And basically this one's for like up tempos, okay? Because, like I said, I mean, it was a little bit of a joke, but it really isn't. I mean, if you've got a singer and you're doing a medium tempo thing and you pick a flat 5 ending, I mean, they're not going to be your friend. Because, you're going to have to hold a note for 8 bars. Well, if you like talked about it beforehand, that could be a little showbiz thing, or whatever you want to put in there. And so anyway, it did come from the last 8 bars of Night and Day, as far as like a reference that I can find in a song. And the last 8 bars of Night and Day sound like this. Now I'm just going to play the harmony on this, okay, so you can like hear the chords. Starts on a sharp 4 half diminished 7th chord, or minor 7 flat 5. So here we go, the Night and Day chords. That's just really simplified there. I'd probably never play it that way on a gig. I want to add some more stuff to that. But anyway, that's where it came from. Now, where I have it here on the sheet, I have, the tonic note on top. And that just makes sense because, songs end on the tonic note, generally. And all you do, it's this. Probably this octave is better. Let's make that a little bit more fun. I'm going to put a walking bass line to it and a rhythm, and this is the one that I use almost exclusively. Okay, so it's like song is going, song is going, song is going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so, actually I didn't want to do that. Here's one other little flavor thing, all right? I'm sure you've probably heard this, but here we go. Have you ever heard that? What that is that is a dominant 4, okay, with this quality. A dominant 4 chord, you go to the 4 chord and play a dominant 9 with sharp 11. And that's just a nice little ending on there. I mean, you can always end it on the tonic, and or not. And I want to play that one more time. Just play a little cleaner. Here we go. right. Now I do want to explain one thing on this and then we'll conclude for today. Okay, as far as the way this is analyzed, okay, it's sharp 4, half diminished 7 or minor 7, flat 5, 4 minor 7. Now you'd think this one would be 3, but it's not because we're playing the tonic on top. Okay, so it's actually a 1 chord in first inversion. And then the sharp 2 fully diminished 7, the 2 minor 7, the flat 2 major 7, and then the 1, 9, major 9. So anyway, I hope that helps you out. And on this flat 5 ending, make sure the tempo's pretty up, because the ending's just too long, on a ballad or medium. It needs to be fairly up. So anyway, that's all for today. And tomorrow we will do Little Sunflower, and also on Friday, and we'll dig into that pretty hard. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.